Shen Shi was very disappointed when he transmigrated into the book he wrote, and didn't even end up as the protagonist. He also didn't understand why the invincible hero became a girl. Even worse, why did all his apprentices want to become his wife instead? The protagonist asked him, "Master, would you like to take me right now? Or do I have to kill off the other apprentices first before you'll have me? So let's start the story." Shen Shi thought, "Am I asleep? No, what time is it now? We should send out today's update." Mouse. How is this so soft? There are no left and right keys? Then a girl says to Shen Shi, Master, don't fiddle with it, ah. Shen Shi does not understand anything and he opens his eyes, and there is a very beautiful girl in front of him, and seeing her Shen Shi thought, what the hell? Am I dreaming? The quality of this extreme is lit. Extreme leaves no trace, let me feel more. Shen Shi starts touching the girl's body, due to which the girl feels strange, and she asks Shen Shi to stop, but she thought, but if I run away now, it'll make the master angry. I will probably be beaten to death. And she tells the master to stop. Then Shen Shi came to his senses and he said, wait. No, it feels too real, how come this dream is so vivid? Then he looks at the girl and he takes her name. And the name of this girl is Yu Ling. Then Shen Shi starts having a severe headache and the girl says to him, Master, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me. But Yu Ling thinks, is the master going to die? If he dies now in this room, the people of the sect would doubt me. At that time, the masters and brothers will definitely torture me. Then Shen Shi tells Yu Ling not to cry. And he moves his hand forward and touches Yu Ling's cheek and tells her that I am fine. But Yu Ling gets a shock and she says, Master, you shouldn't die, I can't be in trouble. At the same time she thinks, wait, the grumpy, cruel and fierce master actually comforted me so gently, he must have damaged his brain. Shen Shi asks, why are you crying? Do you want me to do something about it? Yu Ling gets stunned and she stops crying. Then she says smilingly, that's great, master, you're fine, just stay fine. Shen Shi thought, I clearly set her to be a cute character. Is her personality is different? I have crossed into the story of Long Outyan, a novel written by myself. As Shen Shi, the Golden Core Stage Cultivator. I am the second master of Shangoing Xianzong. He is a ruthless character who does whatever it takes to become stronger. In the plot, he covets the protagonist's treasures and opportunities. From the beginning he deceived and intimidated him. He even tried to kill the protagonist. Later, when the protagonist achieved Jingdan, the first thing he did was to defeat Shen Shi, who had completed the golden elixir. Shen Shi was completely useless. His life was no better than death. And the protagonist is extremely lucky. The whole process is just cliché routines. More importantly, I became the first cannon fodder boss who was sacrificed to the heaven by the protagonist. Is it just because I always like to write the villain's name with the same name as me? If I knew earlier, I would have written myself as the protagonist's friend or Master Goldfingers. Wait, Goldfinger. According to the setting, there should be an accompanying system or cheating finger for a traveler like me. And he calls out to the system, come out, super villain system. But there is no response from the other side. Yu Ling is watching Shen Shi's actions, but she is confused. And Shen Shi says it seems that this wasn't the setting. Then he starts taking many names like Krypton Gold System, Lottery System, Hate System, Love System. Yu Ling is watching Shen Shi's actions, but she is silent. And Shen Shi shouts, nothing? Anything, come on. Are you doing this to me because I'm not the author of the system genre? And he lies down on the bed and he thought, could it be that I'll die after coming? Then Yu Ling jumps on Shen Shi's bed and hugs Shen Shi. Shen Shi looks at Yu Ling's loving face and thinks, this Tseng Yu Ling is my youngest disciple. It was not until the protagonist came, and she began to worship him. Wait, according to the timeline, the protagonist has not yet met Shangding Xianzong and became my disciple. Nor did he take revenge against me. The protagonist has a lot of luck, and is extremely short-sighted. As long as I max the favorability with the big guy and become his number one licking dog, wouldn't I be able to follow the protagonist to rise to the top? Judging from Tseng Yuling's cuteness, there should be many beauties in this world. If you think about it this way, life seems to be quite promising. Anyway, let's turn around my bad image of being violent and impermanent. Yuling says, Master, how could you do this? I'm still young. Shinshur thought, I haven't even done anything. This is too foul. According to the character setting I always abuse them. It should be fine to do something now. It's not for me. The readers also love to watch it. Likes, favorites, comments, barrages will explode. Shinshur asks Yuling to keep quiet and also forbids her from crying. And seeing Shinshur's angry face, Yuling gets scared and she says yes, master. And she stops crying. Then Shinshur thought, how can I bully this stupid child? Let's slowly change my image. I have to make a good relationship with the other apprentices first. They all defected to the protagonist's side. Just then a disciple calls from outside and she says, Master. Disciple Xuanyu has something to report. And this girl's name is Xuanyu. And she is thinking, it's been a long time since little sister went in to give the spirit tea to Master. She shouldn't be so clumsy as to please Master. Shinshur starts going outside after hearing Xuanyu's voice. And Yuling also starts following him. And Shinshur thought, let's see. My second disciple, according to my setting, is Ming Tian's gentle-hearted, sentimental sister, but unfortunately her qualifications are mediocre. In the original plot, she was beaten to death by me for covering up the protagonist. It also became a catalyst for the protagonist's revenge. Of course I wouldn't do such a stupid thing now. The most important thing right now is carved jade that contains all the precious inscriptions on the front and back. First let me use the chi dye to see how you look. Shinshur opens the door and asks Xuanyu, why are you looking for this master? Xuanyu bows completely in front of Shinshur, and Shinshur gets a little surprised to see her doing so, and he thought, what the heck, this way of appearing is too unique. As for the close-up, no one can check you. You damn main author. Shinshur asks Yuling to stand up and Yuling agrees. Then she tells Master, Xing Jintang has sent an invitation. But Shinshur's attention is on Xuanyu's beautiful body, and seeing her beautiful body, Shinshur's nose starts bleeding and drool starts dripping from his mouth. And Yuling thinks, great, little sister is okay. Shinshur thought, Xing Jintang? So I was right, it is the administrative department of Shangning Xianzong, Shinshur says to Xuanyu, invitation? Let me take a look, so Xuanyu says fearfully, reporting to the master, the invitation still has not been sent. And she thinks, it's over, just now I was too worried about my little sister and lied. For a disciple with extremely low talent like me, the master would just kill me if he is angry. Shinshur was looking at Xuanyu's shivering body and he thought, I know that she made up the invitation to protect her little sister. Why are my apprentices so stupid? Then he says, okay, you can take Yuling back. I will spare you this time and only this time. At the same time he thought, let's give her a step down. Xuanyu becomes happy after listening to Shinshur's words. Then Shinshur moves towards Xuanyu and tells her, you don't need to kneel and worship me in the future. You can just greet me normally in the future. Xuanyu asks, Master, what do you mean? Then Shinshur says, it's nothing, just looking at your back and talking to you makes me feel annoyed, so just be obedient. Xuanyu starts leaving, taking Yuling with her. Shinshur while going forward thought, it's so difficult, Shinshur's original character is so villainous. It would take a lot of work to get these little apprentices to trust me. Let's go back and take up the responsibility of the master, and guide them in their cultivation. Yuling, Xuanyu stop and start looking at Shinshur. And this time Xuanyu was feeling something different about Shinshur, and she started blushing. But then Yuling says to her, senior sister, why are you blushing? Are you thinking that the master is very good looking? Xuanyu gets a little nervous but she says, what nonsense are you talking about, master? How can you make such rash comments? After some time, Shinshur is thinking, by peak, Shinshur's exclusive cave, among the 12 mountain peaks covered by Shangning Xianzong, the concentration of spiritual power is second only to the main Dangtian peak and the secondary Danqing peak. At the peak, there are 2 snow-white fields. One is an Edelweiss herb garden, the other is a white jade hotbed. Edelweiss has chi-gathering ability and the necessary materials for cultivation. while the white jade hotbed is a treasured place for breakthroughs in cultivation. These two treasures are all privately owned by Shen Shi, and together with his cultivation at the pinnacle of gold core, even if the other peak masters are jealous, they do not dare to make a move. There is a mutated Edelweiss in my Edelweiss garden. It is the protagonist's first plug-in. No one has found it yet. I have to take it first to avoid other mishaps. But this plot is all written by me. What could have happened? I'm really worrying too. But then Shen Shi's attention goes towards some crane birds who are eating his herb. Seeing this, Shen Shi gets angry and shouts, "What the hell? Stealing from my home? Beasts! You are digging your own grave. Want to run when you're done? Let's see how far you will go." Shen Shi uses a formation and kills all the crane birds. After killing them, Shen Shi starts looking at his herb and talks to them and says, "Don't use my baby plug-in for afternoon tea, these stupid birds with no eyesight. How do my coquettish disciples look after the house?" Then he uses tokens and tells all his disciples, "Everyone come to the Edelweiss herb garden." Hearing Shen Shi's voice, all his disciples start running towards him. And Shen Shi thought, this speed. Their physical fitness is too poor, I'll have to arrange for them to run and train tomorrow morning. A few moments later, all three of his disciples have come to Shen Shi running from a long distance, due to which all three of them get very tired and start panting. And Shen Shi says to all three of them, "Stop, let's talk after your breathing is back to normal." Shen Shi asks Han Xianpi to get up. Shen Shi starts observing Han Xianpi closely and she stands up. Seeing her, Shen Shi thought, Han Xianpi, an upper middle talent, the one with the best aptitude among four peers, dual the fire and with spiritual roots, but her physique is different from ordinary people. I didn't expect to see this kind of taste in reality. Originally, she was used as a tool who highlighted Shen Shi's brutality. He didn't teach her any exercises, however, she didn't complain too much as she was conscientious, and handled chores in an orderly manner. But this figure is one of a kind. This character and talent should really be cultivated. Then Shen Shi says to those three, "These idiots came in to toss my valuable medicine garden. Who is in charge of guarding this place?" On seeing those crane birds, all three become silent, and do not even reply. And Shen Shi thought, it is clear that the master is a cruel and ruthless person, but these disciples have a good relationship with each other, and always protect each other. Then Shen Shi remembered something and thought, I see. It's my eldest disciple, Dongyueli. I see. Dongyueli, the eldest disciple, should be responsible for guarding the medicine garden. But she was injured after getting punished by me. I can only blame myself. Xuanyu bows before Shen Shi and says to him, "Master, please stop your anger. Master, please forgive our elder sister. Master, elder sister asked me to take care of the medicine garden, so it was my fault. I should be the one who gets punished." But Shen Shi shouts at Xuanyu and tells her, "Enough, you're so noisy. Are you now teaching me what to do?" Xuanyu gets scared and her whole body starts trembling and she says, "This disciple would never." But Shen Shi says, "Get lost and do what you have to do. Don't challenge my patience again." And he thought, I still have to act fierce even though I won't punish them. They're really getting lost. Am I that scary? Our Bai Peak is divided into 3 areas. The first area is where the entry disciples and servants live. The second area is where the excellent disciples live. The third area is naturally Shen Shi's residence. In the second area, there is also a spirit gathering array and the spirit power is twice higher than outside. Why do Tsang Yuling and the rest choose to stay in the first area instead of trying their best to reach the second area? Isn't it because they're afraid of being too close to you and dying? I wonder how Dong Yueli's injury will last. I only mentioned it briefly in the book, so I hope it's not too serious. Then Shen Shi opens the door and sees Dongyueli taking a bath. Dongyueli is surprised to see Shen Shi. Dongyueli turns back and she says, "Master, my apologies. I didn't know you were coming. Please leave first." Shen Shi also closes the door. But he is happy inside and he thought, there is no regret in this life. What is happiness? Happiness is that the cat eats fish, The dog eats meat and Shen Shi pushes the door to see a beauty bathing. However, the scars on her body were indeed shocking. Dong Yueli was Shen Shi's first disciple, so she suffered the most abuse. She is also in the 9th level of Qi refining realm, which is the highest amongst the 4 disciples, but she is also the only one who chose to stay with Shen Shi when he got betrayed by his followers. Don't worry. Such a situation won't happen again. Dong Yueli sits in the tub and thinks, Master saw me naked. What should I do? Will the master become a beast and do something bad? It's been quiet for a while. Has the master left? But why did the master just leave like this? Does he not have any interest in me? Just then Shen Shi opens the door, and he comes straight in and stands in front of Dong Yueli. Dong Yueli is scared and she thinks, isn't he progressing too fast? Shen Shi asks Dong Yueli to open her mouth. And Dong Yueli opens her mouth. But she thinks, with my current condition, I may really die if I'm trained by master again. Shen Shi puts something in Dong Yueli's mouth and she eats it. But she feels good. And Shen Shi tells her, this is a yuan elixir. It's a priceless 4-grade elixir and I have only about 10. Don't waste it and quickly absorb its power. Obeying Shen Shi's words, Dong Yueli starts absorbing the power of the yuan elixir. Shen Shi is watching her from outside and he thought, after coughing out money like this, Dong Yueli should be able to smoothly break through to the foundation building realm. After this, it becomes night. And we see Xuanyu and Yu Ling who secretly go towards Dong Yueli's room. And Xuanyu tells Yu Ling, junior sister, to be more quiet. We're finished if we get caught by the master. And Yu Ling says, all clear. Relax, master cultivates at night so he doesn't realize we entered the second area. Then both come out of Dong Yueli's room. And Xuanyu tells Yu Ling, it's always good to be careful. This time, thanks to the help of the Immortal without cultivation, we could afford this excellent healing pill, so we must safely deliver it to our elder sister. And Xuanyu knocks on Dong Yueli's door, and she softly says, elder sister, open the door, we're here with the medicine. But there is no response from inside, due to which both are surprised. And Yu Ling says, don't tell me elder sister is already asleep? Xuanyu says, don't tell me she passed out just like that after getting punished by master. Then Yu Ling kicks the door open and she shouts and says, what? Since the situation is so critical, we have to break in. As soon as she comes inside, she falls on the ground and gets hurt. But when Xuanyu looks in front, she is surprised. She sees that Dong Yueli is absorbing spiritual energy, and she says, junior sister, look. Elder sister has ascended to immortality. All her wounds have disappeared. Yu Ling says, such a bigger by peak. But then someone pulls their clothes back. And we see that it is Shen Shi. And both of them get very scared after seeing Shen Shi. Shen Shi asks them, what are the both of you doing here in the middle of the night? Both of them get scared after seeing Shen Shi, but Xuanyu points towards the medicine and says, master, we're only here to see elder sister. Seeing the medicine, Shen Shi thought, so they're here to deliver medicine to Dong Yueli. Even though these disciples are not good at cultivation, their character is really good. Shen Shi says, your elder sister is now in the middle of a breakthrough, so don't disturb her and go back. Shen Shi comes out of Dong Yueli's room and Yu Ling and Xuanyu also follow him. And Yu Ling says to Xuanyu, second sister, master has become kinder. Is he still the master we know? Xuanyu says, I don't know. Shen Shi is moving forward and he is thinking, although at first, I just wanted to change the direction of the plot, but now I really quite like these disciples. It looks like I have to be a good master now. Next morning, the top of Rabai Peak. Shen Shi is sitting in his room doing cultivation and he thought, according to the setting, Shen Shi has a water and wood dual spiritual root, skilled in illusion arts, trapping techniques and healing methods. His most powerful move is the spirit arts called overlapping mountains. If we go according to the ranking of arts in the cultivation world, there is spirit arts, profound arts and immortal arts. And spirit arts is at the bottom of the list. Even if you cultivate to perfection, you still won't be too powerful. I am now fully in the golden core stage and am only one step away from the nascent soul stage. Of course, there's also a possibility that I won't be able to advance further. After all, according to the story, in the Qingzhou region, you're already very powerful if you're in the nascent soul stage. In my current realm, I am just the right difficulty as the first boss for the protagonist. Let's try it out. And he checks his power. And he attacks a chair, due to which the chair breaks into many pieces. And seeing this, Shen Shi thought, this feeling is pretty amazing. Now that I've decided to be a good master, then I shouldn't neglect my own cultivation. Then he comes out of his room and looking at the view in front he thought, exactly what's happening here. Is it because the rules of this world were created by me? How did I so easily break through to the nascent soul stage? This world is responding to me, pleasing me, and seems to put my needs first. Not only will there be no obstacles in raising my realm, the balance of rules will tilt towards me when fighting, and all the enemy's attacks will be weakened, while mine will be strengthened. But Shen Shi is very happy inside and he shouts, awesome, this is how the heavens are helping me. If I don't care about the consequences, I might be able to reach God's stage as well, but for now, it's better to follow the plot. Let's suppress my realm in the golden core stage for the time being. God is really helping me, huh? With such a constitution, even if the protagonist is equipped with various cheats and advances quickly, I can always beat him in realm and strength. Good, that means I can always be the protagonist's master and cling to his thigh. Until now, this person hasn't considered himself to be the protagonist. And Shen Shi starts laughing loudly. The second day. Yuling wakes up and comes out of her room and she says, elder sister. Good morning. Xuanyu says to her, junior sister, did you not sleep well? So Yuling says, last night, I heard Master's scary laugh coming from the mountain top and was too scared to sleep. Xuanyu says, wash up quickly. Master called for us to gather at the white jade hotbed at the top of the mountain. Hurry, Master is waiting. And all three start running fast to meet Shen Shi. And we see Shen Shi, who is holding the son-in-law, and he thought, I've been sitting here for so long I'm starting to get sleepy. Dong Yueli says in his ear, Master, my junior sisters have arrived. Shen Shi looks at Dong Yueli. Dong Yueli looks very happy, and looking at her, Shen Shi thought, Dong Yueli smoothly broke through into the foundation building realm last night. And then all three disciples reached there. But all three were very tired because they had come running. Then Shen Shi says to them, in the future, I want to see you here every morning. Get up early and cultivate here for an hour. Do you understand? Let's start now. Yuling and Xuanyu say yes. But Han Xianpi says, Master, I think it is better if I just do labor. Staying here will hide my sisters. I don't have a cultivation method yet, so. At the same time, Han Xianpi thinks, I'm just a good-for-nothing who can't even cultivate. Maybe I will remain as a laborer till I die of old age and I will not be able to save my mother. Shen Shi asks Xiener, how old are you? Shen Shi thought, right, back then, Shen Shi didn't teach her any cultivation methods because he feared that her unknown background might complicate things. But now I have nothing to be afraid of. Han Xianpi says, this disciple is 14 years old. Shen Shi says, 14 years old. It's indeed not small. You're supposed to start cultivating the golden core stage between the ages of 9 and 12. At the age of 14, the meridians in the body are about to take shape, even if you start cultivating now. It's okay. It's not too late. You have a fire and wood dual spiritual root, and since you haven't entered a sect before, I will teach you the sect's cultivation methods. As long as you work hard, it's not too late. As long as you work hard, nothing is impossible. Hearing Shen Shi's words, Han Xianpi has tears in her eyes and thinks, that's right, he's my master. My master! The one who, on top of the glorious Immortal Hall 4 years ago, despite the ridicule and contempt of others, took my hand and made me his disciple. My master! Then Han Xianpi hugs Shen Shi while crying, and Shen Shi asks her not to cry. And seeing this movement, Xuanyu and Yuling are surprised, and they both say, my God, is this really our master? Is the master such a gentle person? Dong Yueli blushingly says, the master was a very gentleman before. He's finally come back now. After some time, we see Yuling and she says, I am so tired. I have to get up early every morning, climb to the top of the mountain to practice, and then come down. my feet hurts. Xuanyu pours a bucket full of water over her head. Then she says, Master is doing this for our good, little junior sister, don't complain. Han Xianpi says to Xuanyu, I'm going down the mountain to wash the vegetables. But then Yu Ling comes from behind and starts pressing Han Xianpi's boobs and she says, Third senior sister, tell me if the master has been too strict with you recently. Han Xianpi is surprised but she says, Little sister, don't make trouble. Not only did master spend his time and energy to teach me the cultivation, but he also allowed me to practice on his white jade hotbed because I am a firewood double spiritual root. Since he treats me like this, I must practice hard so that I won't let him down. And she goes to get the vegetables. And Yu Ling says to Xuanyu, Second senior sister, do you think that master is really the same as senior sister told that he was originally a gentle person? So Xuanyu says, I don't know, but we were originally rejected by all of the sections. Sienna was rejected because of her status, and I because of inferior spirituality. And you got rejected for being dumb. Yu Ling says, Humph, I did not. I'm smart. Xuanyu says, Master was willing to accept us as disciples. While leaving, Han Xianpi thinks, he must be a gentle and good teacher. Just then Han Xianpi's attention goes towards a group, and she goes in front and she asks, Who are you? Do you have the token? But a man says, Sister Xianfeng. You forgot me so soon. Han Xianpi says, It turned out to be senior brother Zhao Huangming. Why did senior brother Zhao come this time? I remember that you came not long ago, to pick up the Edelweiss. Zhao Huangming says, Junior sister Xianfeng, this I am not here to get Edelweiss. In fact, we recently lost 7 medicinal cranes in Hebeifeng and my master sent us to look for them on various hilltops. Xuanyu gets a shock when she hears about the medicine crane. And Zhao Huangming further says, yes, that medicine crane is extremely valuable. Its blood and feathers are precious treasures. They are the most important things in our crane white peak. I don't know if junior sister Xianfeng has seen it. But Han Xianpi denies, and she remembers that some time ago they had cooked and eaten the medicine crane. And at that time Shinshur said to Han Xianpi, Xian'er cooking skills are really good, this crane is delicious. Han Xianpi thinks, we've never seen it before? We even burned one and ate one. Then she says, if you don't have the token, you should go back and get the token first. My master has a bad temper. If you dare to go up the mountain, I'm afraid he will blame us. At the same time she thinks, calm down, let's fool around first, and then think of a way. Then Zhao Huangming says, Junior sister Xianpeng, why are you so uncompromising? We are just going up the mountain to have a look. Han Xianpi says, sorry, brother, I don't dare to let you go up the mountain without a token. Zhao Huangming becomes angry on hearing Han Xianpi's words and says in a threatening voice, Han Xian'er, when I call you junior sister, do you really think you became somebody? You who don't even have a way to cultivate, are actually trying to put heirs here? You are really courting death. And he attacks Han Xianpi with his fist, but one of his friends says, senior brother, don't be impulsive, the peak master of this peak is Shinshuren. Zhao Huangming thinks Shinshuren doesn't care about his disciples at all, and he often beats his disciples to death. This Han Xianfeng has not even been given a cultivation method. Even if she was killed, Shinshuren wouldn't turn against Hebeifeng for a piece of trash? But Han Xianpi blocks Zhao Huangming's attack with her palm. Zhao Huangming is very surprised to see this, and Han Xianpi is also surprised to see her power, and she says, Senior brother Zhao, are you really going to fight at her Bai Peak? Zhao Huangming nervously thinks, what's going on? I've already reached the 3rd level of Qi condensation, although I somewhat held back, but it couldn't be blocked by Xian'er, who doesn't have a cultivation. But he again moves forward to attack Han Xianpi and says, your master didn't teach you to cultivate, yet you have the foundation. You must have stolen from your teacher. I will teach you a lesson in place of Shinshuren. Han Xianpi gets a little scared and she thinks, I'm just a beginner, not his opponent at all. But even if I die here, I won't let you go and humiliate master's prestige. Just then Shinshur comes behind him and says, is it up to you to teach my apprentice a lesson? And Shinshur slaps Zhao Huangming so hard that he falls away. His friends also fly in the air along with him. Then Shinshur says to Han Xianpi, you just did a great job. Han Xianpi becomes happy when her master is standing in her support. Then Shinshi glares at those disciples, and seeing Shinshi's angry look, all those disciples get very scared and start apologizing to Shinshi. But Shinshi warns them and says, "You are juniors, I will not make things difficult for you, go away. If there is anything, you can let your master come to me." And all those disciples get very scared. Then they pick up Zhao Huangming and start taking him with them. Shinshi asks Han Xianpi, "Are you injured?" Han Xianpi says, "I am not hurt, master." Shinshi asks, "So? What are they here for?" So Han Xianpi says, "Master, you don't even know what's going on, yet you beat them up?" Then the scene shifts. And we see the medicine crane. And Shinshi is saying, "You said you have been living in this place where peach blossoms are blooming for so many days, and this month I took care of things myself. When are you going to have sex and give me a couple of nests of crane eggs to drink? I'm counting on you big ones to give birth to small ones, and then I'll get rich." Hearing Shinshi's words, the medicine cranes start sweating, and they all get nervous and scared. And Shinshi thought, "Strange, I clearly ate one crane, leaving 3 males and 3 females. Why didn't they do it?" Then Shinshi says, "Whatever. Yueli, your foundation building realm has stabilized, right?" Dongyueli says, "Yes, master, thanks to master's medicinal pill, Yueli was able to break through and stand." Shinshi says, "Now that the foundation building period is over, you can start to learn spells. You have a mutated ice root, and the attributes of the root are similar to those of water. I also have a spirit-level water technique, you should go and practice. If you don't understand, you can ask me." Dongyueli says, "Yes, master, I will practice hard and not let the master down." But Dongyueli is thinking, Master, why are you taking so long? You didn't punish me for so long, I can't take it anymore." A few days later, as the name implies, the Immortal Sapling Conference is a selection conference where an immortal sect selects the younger generation who are suitable for immortal cultivation. Although the Shangding sect is a less renowned sect, it is considered up and coming. Therefore it naturally acts in a righteous manner. The Yuhua sect and Dongming Pavilion, which are allies of the Shangding sect, also came to observe the event. The qualifications of newly recruited disciples often affect the rise and fall of a sect decades, or even hundreds of years later. Shinshi is sitting comfortably, and behind him are his 4 disciples. And he says, "So we should pay attention while selecting." Dongyueli says, "Master, the way you are sitting right now completely obscures your reputation." And a lady's attention goes to Shinshi and someone tells her, "The one over there is Shinshi of the Shangding sect. And this lady's name is Luo," and she says, "What an interesting person." And another girl says, "What, Sister Luo, are you interested in him?" But Luo says, "If he hadn't had a dark history, I might have considered it." Shinshi takes a look at Luo, and Luo starts showing off her charm, seeing which all the elders start looking attentively at Luo. And their noses start bleeding. At the same time, Shinshi's nose is also bleeding, but he says, "Shitty charm." And Xuanyu says, Master, you are bleeding." Shinshi, while cleaning blood from his nose, says, "It's okay, I've been eating too much recently." Yuling says, "Master, the girl you saw is really amazing." But Shinshi asks Yuling, "How amazing is she?" But Yuling is unable to give any answer. But Yuling says her 2 Erbai peaks are more amazing than the eldest sister and the second sister. Then we see some more elders who are shocked to hear Yuling's words. And Shinshi says with a smile, "Alas, shallow people, the world is getting worse." And from behind, the elders are getting very angry and they think, "Are you qualified to talk about us?" Shinshi thought, according to the plot, the main character Shao Qi will finally make his debut, and he will stand out in the final test. Then we see some disciples going forward to qualify. But many also fail. And on top of that, the patriarch is watching all this and he says, "Well, I didn't expect a good seedling to come out of this year's Immortal Sapling Conference." And Danqing Peak Master says, "This iron chain bridge measures the affinity of the spiritual power of the spiritual root, but this child is not only unaffected by the iron chain bridge, on the contrary, it's like a help. I have never seen this kind of affinity talent before, his future is unlimited." The elder says to the patriarch, "This is a fortune for our Shangding sect. In my opinion, Such an outstandingly gifted seedling should be directly under the guidance of the patriarch, so that he can get the best possible training. The patriarch says, Elders, please be calm. Let's take a look at this child's spiritual root attributes. Although I really want to take this child as a disciple, but I also need to see his spiritual root compatibility. Maybe there is a more suitable person than me among the elders and peak masters that can guide him. Looking at Shen Shi, the patriarch thought, you can have fun for now. Let's see if you still take this good disciple later. Everyone else is fine, but we in the Shangding sect do owe a debt to Shen Shi. Shen Shi's disciples were all chosen at the Immortal sapling conference, but none of the peak masters and elders wanted them. According to the rules, all the children who have passed all the levels and appeared on the cloud platform are disciples of the Shangding sect. However, there were some outliers, and the elders and peak masters were unwilling to accept them. In the end, it was Shen Shi who accepted them, which helped the Shangding sect to avoid embarrassment. If there are other good seedlings, I will say something to help Shen Shi to accept one or two of them. Then the patriarch addresses the children who passed the test and says, Congratulations on passing the test, little ones. Standing on the cloud platform are now the disciples of our Shangding sect. After testing your spiritual roots, you will be assigned a suitable master to lead you on the path of immortal cultivation. Now, the persons I have named come forward and walk to the formation in the middle of the stage. The three spiritual roots of water, wood and earth. Would you like to join Donggang Feng? And a girl comes forward and she says, This disciple is willing. Then we see Shen Shi, who is resting and eating grapes from Dongyiweili's hand. And Dongyiweili tells him, Master, if you are so inattentive, all the disciples with good qualifications will be taken away by the other elders and peak masters. So Shen Shi says, What's so great about it? I don't want to accept discus please at all. Is it not enough trouble for me to have a few of you? And Yu Ling is massaging Shen Shi's feet, and she says, I know, there are rumors in the sect that Master is a trash king who likes to take in trash disciples. Shen Shi thinks, this is not a compliment, what are you so happy about? And then the little girl's attribute wood spirit root comes out, which is of low level. And seeing this Shen Shi thought, this Wei Qin is the first harem member of the protagonist Xiao Qi, a small foodie who was won by the protagonist with the food strategy. Patriarch says this would attribute spirit root child Shen Shi. Do you want to take her in as your disciple? The patriarch thought, I didn't think there would be so many good seedlings besides Xiao Qi, and it's a wood spirit root, so why don't I give her to Shen Shi? The elder gets angry and they look at Shen Shi sharply and think, damn, how could such an excellent seedling be given to such a cheap guy? Shen Shi says, I'm not interested. I think it would be better to give this child to Taoist Bai of Lingzhu Peak. Shen Shi thought, Bai Ran has a jade bamboo skill, and Wei Qin's attributes are very compatible with it, and according to the plot she should have been her disciple. Lingzhu Peak Bai Ran Master says, this is absolutely impossible. Shen Shi, your strength is much stronger than mine, such a good seedling cannot be wasted in my hands. Elder says, Bai Ran cultivation is still shallow, only at the early Golden Dan stage. This Wei Qin talent is so excellent. In the end, who should take her as disciple should be carefully discussed. Lingzhu Peak Bai Ran Master thinks, it's true, I'm not strong and I don't have a high status in the sect, so it's not my turn to have such a talented disciple. Shen Shi angrily says to the elder, what's all this nonsense? If you want to take her then you can take her. Just teach the little girl well. If I say Bai Ran is more suitable than me, then she is more suitable than me. Who approves and who opposes the idea of Wei Qin joining Bai Ran as her disciple? The elder gets angry after hearing Shen Shi's words. And the pick master, she also gets a little surprised. Then Shen Shi calls the little girl in front and gives her the cake to eat and he says, You're hungry, right? Here, eat this. And the little girl happily takes the cake. And the pick master caresses the little girl's head and tells her that you can eat this. And the little girl starts eating the cake and Shen Shi starts pulling the cheek of that little girl and he says, You can eat my cakes now, but you can't follow Xiao Qi to kill me. And the pick master says thank you to Shen Shi. Shen Shi says you are welcome. You are the most suitable teacher for Wei Qin, I am just telling the truth. At the same time Shen Shi thinks, the good show is finally here. And after this, the next disciple is called. Her name is Xiao Qi. Shao-Chi is the only one left to take the test. The audience says, I don't know what kind of spiritual root he has, but if he has a water spiritual root, wouldn't he have a chance to become my disciple? You have lived for more than 100 years. Did you have such a good life that you stopped counting it? I think the patriarch will definitely take him as his personal disciple, so you should save your breath. The patriarch says, Shao-Chi, come forward. Shao-Chi greets the patriarch and he says, Shao-Chi meets the immortal master. The patriarch says, good, you are very talented and calm, so no matter who you join in the future, you will definitely have a bright future and a bright future. And Shao-Chi's test begins, which is watched closely by all the elders. And Shen Shi smilingly says, I'll see who still wants to take him as a disciple. Then Shao-Chi's first attribute comes out to be fire, seeing which the patriarch thinks, the fire attribute is exactly the same as me. And the Pick Master says, with fire spiritual root, no one is qualified to compete with the patriarch for this disciple. But the patriarch smilingly says, since Shao-Chi has a fire spiritual root, then I. But then another attribute of Shao-Chi awakens, which is wood. And the female Pick Master gets surprised and she thinks, fire and wood are dual spiritual roots. Although it is not as good as the fire spiritual root, it is still a pretty good combination of spiritual roots. Huh! Wait! When they see Shao-Chi, his third attribute also awakens, which is earth. And seeing this, everyone gets surprised and they say, a new spiritual root was detected, a triple spiritual root of fire, wood and earth. The 3 spiritual roots are already of mediocre qualifications. The patriarch says this, alas, what a pity. Shao-Chi is confused and he starts looking here and there, and tries to understand what is going on right now. But Shao-Chi has many attributes which he also sees and he gets surprised. Shao-Chi has 5 attributes. Then the elder says, my God, the 5 elemental spiritual roots turned out to be rubbish with no cultivation talent. And now many people's eyes fall on Shao-Chi and everyone starts staring at him. Feeling this, Shao-Chi starts getting nervous and his body starts trembling. And those people start saying, I thought it was something extraordinary, but it turned out to be a waste. This result is really disgusting. I'm not sure how he's going to get off the stage after looking so confident before. Then the patriarch says, Shao-Chi, you have no cultivation talent, but since you have passed the examination, according to the rules, the Shangding Immortal sect will give you 3 years for the examination. Which elder or the Peak Master is willing to accept this disciple? And all the Peak Masters are waiting for Shao-Chi's decision. And an elder says, what's the point of accepting such a waste with no cultivation talent? It will only add him as a laughing stock in the sect. So, are there any fellow Taoists willing to accept this disciple? Shen Shi thought, the look in your eyes, why don't you just say my name directly? And Shao-Chi is listening to other people and they are saying, Sect Master, such an ordinary person should not be admitted to our sect, no matter what. If you don't have the talent for cultivation, you can't be an immortal cultivator, Sect Master. In fact, this Shao-Chi is not among the rules we set, so we can exclude him. Then a man comes in front of Shao-Chi and asks him, what's your name, little one? Shao-Chi gets surprised but he tells his name, and when he looks ahead, there is Shen Shi in front of him. And Shen Shi says to him, why are you crying? In the future a boy is going to be a man, and tears shouldn't be on a man's face. Shao-Chi wipes the tears from his eyes. And Shen Shi asks him, so, will you become my disciple? On listening to Shen Shi, Shao-Chi gets ready to become his disciple and he shouts loudly so that the whole arena hears that from now on Shao-Chi has become Shen Shi's disciple. Then Shen Shi says to him, good, you just have to believe in one thing, the world, sooner or later, will crawl under your feet. Shao-Chi kneels down in front of Shen Shi and says, yes, I will remember, Master, please accept a bow from this disciple. Shen Shi turns back and says to Shao-Chi, let's go. I've seen enough of this boring conference, come with me. Shao-Chi also starts following Shen Shi and Shen Shi is smiling and he thinks, yes, this is the look, the favorability level is directly full, starting with SSR characters, it changed the plot of my death, in the future, I'll be able to live with peace of mind. I, the invincible villain master with my apprentices, the end with scattering flowers. After some time, Shen Shi is in his home and he says to Shao Qi, from today you are a disciple of Bai Peak. Although the talent you have shown today is not good, I believe that one day, you will prove your strength. Shao Qi says yes, Shao Qi will not let Master down. Dong Yueli thinks, Master quite likes this little apprentice, who normally looks like a salted fish. Then Shen Shi gives Qi gathering pill to Shao Qi and says to him, this is a Qi gathering pill, with your current quality. Just take one Qi gathering pill with water. First divide the pill into 10 portions and take one each time you cultivate. It will help you to cultivate. Dong Yueli is surprised and she says, Master, you're so messed up. Junior brother has just started. How can you give him pills to help him grow? But Shen Shi says, for others, maybe it's a way to help them grow. But for a pure body like Shao Qi with a perfect spiritual affinity, it's not. Dong Yueli says, Master, it is this disciple who has spoken recklessly. Please punish me. Shen Shi says, it doesn't matter. You are also doing it for the sake of your younger brother, so I won't punish you. But Dong Yueli says, Master, why haven't you punished me recently? Is it because I've done something wrong and you're completely disappointed in me? So Shen Shi says, what do you mean? Naturally you've been doing a good job. Shao Qi is watching their actions but he remains silent. But he calls Shen Shi Master, due to which the attention of both of them goes towards Shao Qi. And Dong Yueli thinks, oh no, I forgot. Junior brother is still here. Shen Shi is happy that Shao Qi intervened between them. Then Shen Shi asks Shao Qi, is there anything you want to say? Just then Shao Qi makes a big revelation and he tells Shen Shi, Master, I'm actually a girl, my real name is Shao Qi. And Shen Shi is shocked to hear Shao Qi's words and he does not understand what to say now. A few days later, Qi is sitting on Shen Shi's lap and Shen Shi asks her, Qi, you've been here for a few days now. Do you have any questions about cultivation? So Qi says, I can understand everything. It's just that I can't find a suitable posture at the step of entering the body. Don't worry, there is no rush in cultivation. But Qi starts adjusting her sitting posture. Shen Shi is feeling a little awkward, so he says, you can stop adjusting your posture now. Entering the body isn't supposed to be done like this. Then Qi says, Master is really amazing. You're not surprised to hear that I'm a girl. That means the Master has seen through my disguise long ago, right? Shen Shi says, your clan has declined and the journey you took to get here would be full of bandits. It is the best choice for a woman to dress as man and naturally, I will not expose you. But Shen Shi thought inside, my ass. Why did the male lead become a woman? Where's my main character? What about his harem in the plot? I can't keep his, It looks like it's possible. And he's also a lowly now. The bike is changing into a motorcycle and is more comfortable to ride. Shen Shi takes out a book and he tells, the so-called cultivators born with deficiencies, with obstructed 5 elements, spiritual energy entering the body, interrupted circulation, spiritual energy staying in the body, from small increments to form abundance, transcendental. Qi, you have 5 elemental spiritual roots, so the first step into the body to refine Qi is something you can't do. But don't worry, I'll help you solve this problem. Today, I'll teach you the rules that cultivators must know by heart. Qi says, okay. Then the scene shifts. And we see Han Xianpi and she is very happy, and she has prepared some dishes and she says, elder sister, I've fried 2 more dishes, both of which are Master's favorites. Sis both of I've. And as Han Xianpi sees Dong Yueli, she is surprised. Dong Yueli is very happy and someone is in Shen Shi's mind and she says, Master will definitely be happy. Han Xianpi is shocked and she thinks, what's wrong with elder sister today? She's been acting weird. Then 2 more disciples of Shen Shi came there. And Xuanyu says, I've just sent a message to my master, he should be arriving soon with Qi. Yuling says, it's time to eat, time to eat. It smells good. Wow, we have roasted cranes today. Xuanyu is shocked and she says, wait? A charcoal-grilled crane? Third sister, isn't this something that the master has deliberately instructed to take good care of? Why did you make a dish out of it? Then Xuanyu's attention goes towards the door, and she sees Shen Shi and Qi coming inside to eat. And they both are very happy and Shen Shi smilingly says, I'm feeling starved after training with Qi all morning. At the same time Shinshur thought, although I don't need to eat since I have a golden core body, Han Siener's handicraft is really excellent, especially that roasted crane. I can't seem to forget its taste from before. But when he sees the dish in front of him, he gets a big shock and shouts, "Fuck! Why are my precious cranes roasted? And it's two females as well." Then Cheer asks Xuanyu, can the master even differentiate the gender of roasted cranes? But Xuanyu asks Cheer to keep quiet and says, "Sure, master is about to get angry, so don't say anything." Shinshur is in a great shock and mutters, "I fed these medicinal cranes with precious snowdrops, and was expecting them to mate so they can lay eggs and make me rich." Shinshur shouts out loud, "Who is it?" Fire starts burning inside Shinshur, and he looks at the four disciples with angry eyes. Then he takes a deep breath and exhales. Then he becomes sad and says, "Everyone get up. Don't be scared. I'll ask you guys once again. Who did it?" Shinshur thought, the medicinal crane was originally an external object, far less important than these lovely disciples. I lost control for a moment, and got affected by the originally set violent character of this guy. Then Dangyueli says, "Master, it was me. I allowed Sienna to make it and was the one who caught the cranes. Please punish me, master." And she bends in front of Shinshur, and she demands, "Please be sure to punish me severely." Shinshur gets confused and he thought, what the hell, although the atmosphere is very strange, it would be odd if I didn't punish. The problem is how. Looking at Dangyueli's face, it seems like she has started craving for punishment from Shinshur. And she is looking at Shinshur with hopeful eyes as to when Shinshur would punish her. And Cheer asks Shinshur, "Master, does the elder sister need to be spanked after making a mistake?" But Shinshur did not give any answer to Cheer, and she thought, good idea. Spanking the elder sister in front of her junior sisters will make her lose all her face. From then on, I will be a low-key man and do things in a down-to-earth manner, and I won't be too violent so my image won't be destroyed. It's perfect. Then Shinshur sits on the chair and orders Dangyueli to come in front. Dangyueli also comes forward, then she raises her butt and starts blushing. She looks at Shinshur with hopeful eyes. Now she is all set to take the punishment. It looks like she is in a lot of excitement. Shinshur is also happy that he is getting a golden chance to use his hands on Dangyueli's butt. And he thought, the body of this woman is really different from Cheer's lowly self. I must stay composed. I must not lose control. If not, my image as a good master will be destroyed. Shinshur uses his hands and hits Dangyueli's butt hard so the thing falls out of Dangyueli's mouth. And smoke starts coming out of Dangyueli's butt. Then Shinshur says, "As the eldest disciple, you failed to set an example, so you will be punished properly today. For the others watching, this should be taken as a warning." Shinshur again starts hitting Dangyueli's butt and Dangyueli screams sweetly. And all the three disciples are watching all these looks very carefully. And Dangyueli is saying, "NGH Master, Yueli was wrong, please use more strength. Please cruelly punish me in front of my junior sisters." After taking the punishment, Dangyueli gets satisfied. And Shinshur thought, I think I see it now. Dong Yueli is an M. In my story, Dong Yueli was abused but didn't leave Shinshur. At that time, I didn't consider the reason behind it. So is this heaven's way of helping me complete the logic? But the way it is set up. Then Shinshur starts leaving from there and he says, "I'm not eating anymore. You guys can share the roast crane amongst yourselves." But she thought, this heaven really knows how to screw around, huh? After Shinshur leaves, Xuanyu asks, "Elder sister, are you okay?" All three disciples look at Dangyueli's condition and Dangyueli says, It's okay, Xianyu, come here." Then Dangyueli whispers into Xuanyu's ears, "Xianyu, go and get me a new set of undershorts." Xuanyu starts running fast and she says, "Elder sister, I'll be right back." Yuling asks, "What's wrong with second sister?" Han Xianpi says, "I don't know." Cheer carefully looks at Dangyueli's butt and she understands what the matter is. So she starts laughing. After a while, Shinshur is in the tub and he says, "This Dong Yueli these days in front of other junior sisters is a bit more restrained and can more or less take care of her image, but in private, she's getting too much." Just then Donggyueli asks Shen Shi, Master, did you call me? Donggyueli stands in front of Shen Shi with a towel wrapped around her body, and Shen Shi is surprised to see her, and he says, Yueli, I told you many times that I don't need help when I'm taking a bath. But Donggyueli says, Master, it must have been tough for you to teach us every day. Yueli will help you wipe your back. And she moves ahead and starts getting inside the tub. But Shen Shi asks her to move away, but Donggyueli does not listen to Shen Shi. And Shen Shi tells her, Enough, I already said you don't need to help. So quickly get out. But Donggyueli does not listen to Shen Shi, and she gets inside the tub. And she says, What you want me to do, I just won't do it. Shouldn't I be punished for being so disobedient? Shen Shi thought, this world is too crazy. How can I have such a disciple like this? Who can even withstand this? If I wrote my novel like this before, would I have gotten more views? Just then Cheer calls out, Master, Cheer has a question she doesn't understand, so she's here for advice. Donggyueli gets shocked and she asks Shen Shi, Master, what do I do? Shen Shi smiles and says, Haha. What do you do? Why didn't you think of the consequences? Go and hide in the closet. Donggyueli goes to hide and she says, Yes, I'll hide now, Master. Please don't say that I've been here. And she hides. Shen Shi thought, what kind of progression is this? I should get rid of the water on the floor and on Yueli's body. If not, she'll catch a cold. Then Cheer comes in and Shen Shi moves the tub, and he says, Cheer, it's already so late. What are you here for? Cheer looks around. Then she says, Master. So you were bathing. I don't understand a few questions, so I came to you for advice. Shen Shi says, Let me hear it. Actually, you can't refine Qi yet, so you don't have to work so hard to learn the theory. And Cheer starts looking towards the cupboard. Shen Shi is a little surprised and he thought, why does she keep looking at the closet? Don't tell me she can see something's up? Cheer says, the slow need to start early. My talent is the worst, so naturally, I have to work harder. I initially wanted to ask senior sister, but I can't seem to find her anywhere. Shen Shi asks, then what do you not understand? But Cheer says, hold on. Master, I'll pour you a cup of tea first. Donggyueli is hiding inside the cupboard and she is feeling very hot and she thinks, so squeezy, so hot. The closet is full of Master's scent, no? Cheer is still outside, if I get discovered. But Master's scent is enveloping me, it's making me excited. Donggyueli starts making strange sounds from her mouth by imagining Shen Shi. And when Shen Shi sees that some movement is happening inside the cupboard, he gets scared and says, Dong-Yul, what exactly are you doing? Dong-Yueli? Then Cheer makes tea for Shen Shi and brings it to him, but then her foot stumbles and the teacup is about to fall. And she is also about to fall. But she has a plan and smilingly thinks, hee, once Master's clothes are wet, I should be able to help him get new clothes in the closet, right? Then Shen Shi catches Cheer with one hand and also handles the teacup using his power. Shen Shi asks her to be careful, and she hugs Shen Shi, and she says, this disciple was really too clumsy. Fortunately, I didn't wet my master's clothes. I don't know if there would have been suitable replacement clothes in the closet or not. Shen Shi gets a little confused, but he says, it's fine, be careful in the future. It's not a problem if clothes get wet, but when you fall down it will inevitably hurt. At the same time he thinks, this little girl. It was definitely on purpose. Cheer says, yes, I'll obey Master's orders. Master is the best. Shen Shi thought, she's still young, she probably can't understand things now, probably not. Then Cheer says, then Master, I'll go back now. After Cheer leaves, Shen Shi heaves a sigh of relief and says, Cheer, this little lowly, beat around the bush for an hour. Even if I'm in the golden core stage, I'm about to collapse. Cheer was too difficult to deal with, so I didn't have time to pay attention to Yueli. I hope she's fine after being shut inside for so long. Then Shen Shi opens the cupboard. Donggyueli's condition inside the cupboard is not good, she is drenched in sweat. Then Shen Shi tells her, it's hard to be locked up in the closet, isn't it? Next time you do it again, it won't be just the closet. Then Donggyueli comes into her psycho mode and she demands from Shen Shi, and she says, Master, what other punishment is there? Yueli is willing to accept it. Whether it's whipping, burning, or dropping wax, as long as it's given by Master, Yuli is willing. Shinshur says, okay. Quickly get a change of clothes now, don't leave a bad impression on your junior sisters. Shinshur sits on the chair and he is drinking tea and he thinks, no, this place is too dangerous. If I stay here, I won't pass the trial next time. Shinshur says to Dangiweli, Yuli, I'll be leaving the mountain for a while, so go and prepare some stuff for me. You all stay on the mountain and cultivate properly. Prepare for the sect that will happen in half a year. Dangiweli says, Master, why do you suddenly want to leave the mountain? So Shinshur says, I'm going to look for something. But he thought, the snowdrops before were almost eaten by those silly cranes. I'd better hurry to get the cheats of the main character before there's another change. Then, the second day, outside the Shangding Immortal sect. Shinshur starts going down the mountain wearing normal clothes and he says, after coming to this world, this is the first time I've left the sect. Anyway, the destination isn't far, so I'll just walk there. Then we see a group who are traveling and going somewhere. And we see a man and he says to a madam sitting in a horse carriage, Madam, there is a stream ahead. Shall we stop to rest? And the madam says, Commander Gao, let everyone rest by the roadside, we've been traveling nonstop for 3 days. Everyone must be tired. And we see some of their security personnel who have been appointed especially for their security. Then they get a very special smell and they say, Huh? It smells good, what's this aroma? I'm even drooling. Everyone's mouth starts watering. And the cook says, cumin lamb kebab is the best. Going down the ravine to find cumin seeds wasn't in vain. Now, I only have to do one last thing. Pouring in the heart and soul. Then everyone sees that Shinshur is making lamb kebabs. Then an old man comes out from the horse carriage and says, Rest assured. He's not a cultivator. And from inside a lady calls the commander, and gives him a golden leaf. Then we see Shinshur who is preparing to eat the kebabs and he thinks, in this group of people, there's only one in the foundation building stage, but the movement of his spiritual energy is a mess and already exhausted. Not a threat to me. And the commander stands in front of Shinshur and says to him, Hello, little brother. I'm Gao Xing, the guard commander of Muling Castle. Shinshur asks, Brother Gao, what can I do for you? So the commander says, Your cooking skills are superb, so I want to buy a few skewers from you. 3 skewers for a gold leaf, how about it? Shinshur says, You must be joking, Brother Gao. It's too much to exchange 3 skewers of mutton for 1 golden leaf. I can't eat so much by myself, so feel free to take as much as you want. The commander says then, Thank you for your generosity, my brothers will be able to relieve their hunger. After some time Shinshur starts stretching his body and says, Great, it's time to move on. And 2 girls move towards Shinshur and seeing Shinshur's cheeks turn red, and he thought, oh, 2 beauties. Are they sisters or mother and daughter? And he asks HM? Wait, who are you calling little? Then the lady in front becomes silent, and the girl behind her starts laughing. Then she says, Little brother, your skewers were extremely appetizing, it must be fate for us to meet like this. I am Luo Shasha from Muling Castle and this is my daughter Yuding. May I ask for your name? Shinshur says, Cultivators do not reveal their names. My Taoist name is Jingza. The lady says, So you're a cultivator, I apologize if I'd been rude. At the same time she thinks, a cultivator's Taoist name is ranked according to seniority. I've never heard of a generation with Jing, so he must have made it up on the spot. This young man is too cautious. And she says, May I ask? If the young cultivator is rushing to go somewhere? So Shinshur says, Yes, I'll be leaving now. And the lady becomes silent, but the girl behind her is still laughing. And Shinshur packs his things and gets ready to leave and he says, Oh, right, I'm going to Dwani Mountain. Madam, if it's on the way, why don't you give me a ride? The lady says, If the little brother doesn't mind it. At night, everyone sets up camp and sits after lighting a fire. And we see the lady's daughter and she says, Mother, why did you let him travel with us? Didn't the elder say he wasn't a cultivator? The lady says, Although that young man is a bit odd, I couldn't see through him at all. Whether he is a cultivator or not, he must be an extraordinary person. There is no harm in bringing him along. Furthermore, He also said that he's going to Dwani Mountain, which is a demon mountain. It's said that demonic beasts occupy that place. Not a single person who went to that mountain came out alive. If you're unskilled, would you even dare to go there? His daughter says, Mother, if that man is really an expert. If we befriend him, I won't have to join the Yuhua sect, right? I don't want to be separated from you. Lady says, Silly child, I don't want to be separated from you either, but there is no such thing as having your own wishes fulfilled, is there? His daughter says, If he's really good, then I'll marry him. Then our Mu Ling castle won't be bullied anymore. Then Shen Shi sneezes loudly. And the commander tells him, Young man, there is no good place to rest outside. Go sleep in my tent to avoid catching a cold. I'll be doing night duty. Shen Shi says, No need, brother Gao. I don't sleep. Why are you guys going to the Yuhua mountain? Then both of them sit near the fire and the commander says to Shen Shi, Our Mu Ling castle was once considered one of Jianghu's greatest sects. Immortals bow down to us, and even the imperial court of the Jade Kingdom would show us respect. But after our ancestor died, our sect instantly lost its greatest protection. Over the years, the madam has supported the whole Mu Ling castle alone. If it hadn't been for her wisdom, I'm afraid the Mu Ling castle would have long been eaten up by hostile forces. We're going to Yuhua Mountain because we heard that there is a great immortal sect there, and the madam wants the young miss to join. Shen Shi says, Is it the Yuhua sect? And he imagines and he thinks, it's that really big sect. And he says, What about your master? So the commander says, the master died young. At that time, the madam had not arrived yet. They hadn't even met, and they were already separated from each other forever. The young miss is a child that the madam adopted, a fact which is well known around Jianghu. Shen Shi thought, so they're a beautiful pair of mother and daughter who have to carry their own family business, and they're all untouched virgins. Even if you don't want to attract jackals, they'll still come. I've stepped into muddy water. And he says, Brother Gao, quickly wake everyone up. We need to fight. The commander is surprised and he says, What did you say? So Shen Shi says, 300 paces away, many are enemies approaching, and among them are cultivators. And on hearing this the commander becomes very surprised and he says to all his comrades, Everyone on alert. Prepare to engage in combat. And everyone is now alert. And Shen Shi also gets ready to fight, and he says, Since it's fate, then I'll help you guys out a bit.